Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Want to talk about the death of Demaryius Thomas. Again, young NFL star passed away supposedly in his shower December 9th, 2021 at the end of last year. Want to talk about his death, the upcoming NFL season, and if Aaron Rodgers goes from the Packers to the Broncos. And again, we'll start here with the connection to Demaryius Thomas, who passed away so recently. What's interesting is from his date of death to the upcoming Super Bowl, Super Bowl 57, which will conclude the 103rd NFL season, it's a span of 431 days. And interesting span because that's the 83rd prime number. And as we know, that is a number connected to death and murder. But in terms of football, Colorado equals 83. Football equals 83. Demaryius Thomas, most remembered for playing for the Denver Broncos, of course, the Colorado football team. In 1983, they said that was the best QB draft class ever. John Elway was part of that draft class, who ended up making his career with the Broncos. But 431 days from his death to the upcoming Super Bowl. And since next year will be the 103rd season, Broncos equals 103. And in my time of doing this research, we've documented a number of very interesting rituals with the Broncos in 103. One of which is the fact that the man who does the State Farm commercials equaling 103, Aaron Rodgers, whose surname equals 103, he picked up his 103rd regular season win September 22nd, 2019 over the Denver Broncos. Not his 103rd career win, but regular season win. His 103rd career win, which is regular season and postseason, came over the Cowboys October 8th, 2017. So he picked up a 103rd all-time win versus the Cowboys. And then he was injured a lot of 2017 and 18, so he didn't play that many games. But 2019 got that 103rd regular season win over the Broncos. And if you recall, he came into that season with 103. How was it? He had... I'm trying to remember exactly how it was now. I think he had 103. I forget exactly how it was. But you know what? The first game of that season was after Bart Starr died, and he beat the Bears 10-3, a span of 103 days from Bart Starr's death. And of course, Bart Starr's the NFL great quarterback for the Packers. So anyhow, there's been a lot of 103 stuff, and he was going crazy with the 103 rituals in those first few weeks of the season. It was the Bart Starr thing, and then a few weeks later, it was the 103rd regular season win over the Broncos. So what's interesting about his 103rd all-time win versus the Cowboys and then his 103rd regular season win is that if you measure from the day that he got the win against the Cowboys to the day he got the win against the Broncos, it came 102 weeks later. And in Gematria, Cowboys equals 102. And from that September 22nd, 2019, 103rd regular season win over the Broncos to the upcoming Super Bowl, that's 177 weeks later. And what's interesting about the numbers 177 and 201 is they're special numbers to the Jesuit order. They bring those numbers together a lot in rituals. The Jesuit order is 177 forwards, 201 in reverse. And Aaron Rodgers equals 201. So I'm thinking, from that 103rd win versus the Broncos to the upcoming Super Bowls, that 177 weeks. And consider he's coming from the Packers. Can't get much more Jesuit than the Packers. Vince Lombardi, a Jesuit, died at Jesuit Georgetown. Of course, the Lombardi Trophy people play after. And with regards to it being Super Bowl 57 and Vince Lombardi dying at Georgetown equals 57. So it could be real fitting for a Packer great to pick up that Super Bowl Lombardi Trophy. And then the other thing is, Rodgers hasn't been in a Super Bowl for, as of next year. Super Bowl 57 will mark 12 years since his last Super Bowl. He was in Super Bowl 45. So it'll be 12 years later. Of course, he's number 12. And what's funny is Super Bowl 12 was the Cowboys and the Broncos. So it'll be 45 years since Super Bowl 12 as well, just like Rodgers' last Super Bowl was number 45. And again, we were talking about yesterday. Yesterday I put out in the morning, I said, for those of you guys on the Rams, here's a good sign for the Rams. We pointed out how St. Louis, where the Rams used to be, won the 102nd World Series over the Detroit Tigers, kind of like how yesterday the Rams beat the Bengal Tigers in the year of the Tiger. And St. Louis also won the 102nd Stanley Cup. Well, the 103rd World Series, Colorado participated in. They didn't win, so if Rodgers does make it to the Super Bowl, we'll have to think about if he's going to win it. But the Colorado Rockies, who represent Denver just like the Broncos, they were in the 103rd World Series. And I went back and looked at the history of Broncos and Cowboys games just since Rodgers picked up these two 103s versus these two respective teams. The last time they played was this past season. The Broncos beat the Cowboys 30-16 on November 7th. And from that game to the upcoming Super Bowl is 66 weeks later, which is interesting because the first Super Bowl was in the 66 season. NFL and Jewish Gematria is 66. Of course, 66 is the 11th triangular number. Football is a game of 11 on 11. And Super Bowl LVII, what it'll be next year in Roman numerals, is also 66. And Aaron Rodgers, he's going to come into this upcoming season with 150 total wins, 76 losses, and a tie. Excuse me. His next win is 151. Dallas Cowboys does equal 151. Excuse me. And with the 227 games under his belt, that's the 49th prime. Dallas is 49. NFL's 49. America's 49. Super Bowl's 49. Let me see. I got the old dry throat this morning. But anyway, it's the for the Broncos and the Cowboys, this upcoming season will be their 63rd season. I've called that the Aaron Charles Rodgers number historically. There's a number of other teams that will be in their 63rd season, but Aaron Rodgers has performed so many big rituals in his career with 63. If you go back, my call to the NFL league office from 2018 still up. That was the one where he got his 63rd home win on a 63-date numerology over his favorite team, the 49ers, and the score ended up, if I remember right, ended up being 33-30, 63 points. And at the end, Joe Buck yelled out, "What a Hollywood script!" And again, they had commentary like that last night too after the Super Bowl. But again, you guys, if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Broncos, him being in the Super Bowl is, I mean, this is a lot lining up for Aaron Rodgers. So just remember, if Rodgers goes to the Broncos, good chance they're in it. Could it be against the Cowboys? Possibly. Not necessarily. I'll do more thinking on the NFC team, but with the Demaryius Thomas death syncing up with a Super Bowl and, you know, Rodgers in 103 and the fact that he picked up his 103rd regular season win against this team, it all makes a good deal of sense. And again, this is what we find out season after season. You go back and you add up the history, the facts, the milestones. You see how it's all big, one flowing script. And it's just like yesterday. You know, the last time the Rams and the Bengals played, it was in London, and the Rams did win that game as well. And we knew it was all about the royal family, and they made that super obvious. Billie Jean King, all the stuff that they did yesterday, the purple hair. So again, I mean, the NFL's an ongoing script. And as we know, a lot of times it's the people that die along the way that are synced with the big game. Just like for the Bengals, they didn't win the Super Bowl yesterday, but they won the AFC Championship. We're in it, and all those people that dropped dead that we documented and over a series of years. So I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. I just wanted to put it out there if you want to start your own research. And please go back and verify what I said. I took the time to count up the games. Plus, I have all the notes documented over the years. But everything I said should be accurate. The 103rd regular season win and the 103rd all-time win and the dates. And, yeah, you just got to say, what are the odds that it all lines up like this? So, before I sign off, let me interact with the chat a little bit. See if anybody has anything good to point out in the chat. Yeah, the Cowboys, they haven't done anything since the mid-90s, absolutely. And again, if money's a determinant on the rituals, I mean, the Cowboys have such a monster market and people love to bet on their teams, it could be part of the reason the Cowboys haven't done anything lately. It was like this past season, the 102nd season, with the Cowboys' strong connection to 102. They had some rituals that made sense. And again, I really do think there was a script out there for a Chiefs-Cowboys Super Bowl, especially with what they did with the Mahomes and Dak Prescott's schools facing each other this year, because that game was 102 days after Mahomes' birthday, and it was 152 days from Dak's birthday. It was the 152nd college season, the 102nd NFL season. And again, had Mahomes won out this season in the playoffs, he would have been 10-2. But they didn't go with that. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the casino wants to win. If there's too much money on a script, they might not go that way. But then I also think there's certain things like Brady and stuff. I think there's certain rituals that it's just that maybe they can change what team they're going to face. But I think there are certain scripts they're definitely ones that are going through. And Rodgers is one of these golden boys in the NFL. I think if he does go to the Broncos, I don't think it matters how much money it would get on with the Broncos for, futures. The thing is, if Rodgers does go to the Broncos, their odds to win the Super Bowl probably not going to be the best for a payout. It might be something like 10-1. So if you can get a future for the Broncos before Rodgers goes there, and again, this is the same thing. We knew LeBron was going to win the finals for the Lakers in his 17th season, and he did. And the people who got the big payout on that were the people who bet on it before they signed Anthony Davis. Because once they signed Anthony Davis, then the odds went way, way down. So the reason I'm putting this out there now is if you want to think about this, the time to bet on it is really before Rodgers signs there. And if he doesn't sign there, I mean, it's probably not happening. But if he does, again, it's got a lot of legs. So I forget, is Dustin Johnson the guy who won it 2 years ago? 2 years ago, whoever won it after Tiger and before the Japanese golfer last year, I think it was Dustin Johnson. I always get their names confused. He had the ritual 2 years ago. I'll look at the Masters this year, so we'll see. Yeah, I'm not even looking at the chat. Anyone who says I'm always wrong is just a fool. But the Jesus guy who just got blocked by somebody, you didn't need to block his comment. His comment wasn't so bad. But just for the Jesus guy who says, "How do you not believe in Jesus?" Again, I just keep it more simple. I don't claim to know at the end of the day what the true religion is, or if there even is a true religion. I just think there's good and evil. So it's like, what side are you on? Are you about truth and justice and doing what's right, or are you about the opposite of those things? And obviously, Jesus is a metaphor for good, and the devil's a metaphor for evil. So I just think when you fall into saying that there's only Jesus or the devil, again, that's seeing the world through a lens that was given to you, not really through your own God-given lens. At least that's the way I see it. But anyhow. The Daytona 500, was it last year that it was on Valentine's Day, and the Love Scar one? Was that last year or 2 years ago? I might look into the Daytona 500. People have done some great work with NASCAR just applying the knowledge themselves. I don't really know much about NASCAR, but Cleveland and Philly being 2016 election connections. Yeah, because Hillary was in Philly and Trump was in Cleveland. Cleveland Rams won. It was announced. Yeah, that's interesting. Again, 118th World Series coming up. We'll be talking about that soon on Patreon. Again, spring training's coming up. March Madness coming up. Going to start doing a weekly stream again on other sports. And when I finish the book, I will start doing more than once a week on the sports stream. But yeah, for now, we'll keep it short and sweet, you guys. If you want to start thinking about next Super Bowl, again, when your book goes up with the odds, see what the Broncos are before they get Rodgers, because that could be a nice hefty payout where it's the type of thing where you can just lay a few bucks down on it, and you don't have to risk much. So that's always the smartest way to bet. You look for those gems. Like yesterday, the gem in the Super Bowl was Odell Beckham. Nice big payout for him to get the first touchdown. Nobody on the field had nearly as good of a reason to score the first touchdown as him. You know what? Speaking of Jupiter, Florida, Tiger Woods has a home in Jupiter, Florida. You know what? I'm not going to do it right now. But do you remember a few years back when supposedly somebody left Tiger Woods' restaurant in Jupiter, Florida, and got in a deadly car crash, and that was a big story for a while? Again, I didn't understand back then about how Jupiter was the tiger-striped planet, but doesn't it all make so much sense now that Tiger Woods is in Jupiter, Florida? So, anyway. Remember, it's not just, it's technically it's the 76th season of professional basketball, but the first season wasn't the NBA, so don't just focus on 75, keep 76 in mind too. 76th year of pro basketball, 75th year of the NBA. And you know what's funny is I thought the Bucks had a shot last year. I thought the Nets had the better riddle, but it's because Bucks have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Here, just to go over this again from the other day. In the 74th NBA season, I thought that the Lakers did win the finals like we thought they would. But in the 74th season, I was thinking it would make the most sense for the Lakers to beat the Bucks. They ended up beating the Heat instead. And the reason I thought that was because of Abdul-Jabbar, because he's Mr. 74. And just like LeBron passed him what day was it? Saturday, with the 74th points. If you missed my video on this, I covered why he did this while Jabbar's 74, 63 days before his birthday, what it had to do with Muhammad Ali's death, two men who changed their name to Islamic names. But in the 74th NBA it was the 74th pro basketball season. And you know what? Let me go back and think about... Anyway, it didn't happen. But then the next year, which was technically the 74th year of the NBA, then the Bucks won the finals. So, who knows? Actually, the more I'm thinking about, maybe it is more what number matters is the 75 this year than the 76. But historically, both numbers have mattered. So that's kind of one of the goofy things about the NBA. But you know what? Let me type out Toronto real quick. Yeah, Toronto is 72. So that 73rd season of pro basketball, Steph Curry's born on the 73rd day of the year. He took his team to the finals, but that was the 72nd season of the NBA, and Toronto won. So that is one of the things going on, the discrepancy. Both numbers matter, but maybe it's actually the NBA year count that matters more. So 76th year of pro basketball this year, but 75th year at NBA. And then last year was the 74th, and the Abdul-Jabbar team won. Okay. Keep that in mind next year, because next year will be the 77th season, but the 76th NBA season. And, back in the 1976-77 season, that was the year the Blazers beat the 76ers in the finals. But yeah, if you missed this video on Abdul-Jabbar getting passed the other day on LeBron's three, who took it from 71 to 74, he changed his name to Abdul-Jabbar in 71, and Prophet Muhammad equals 71. But again, you guys, it's all script, man. I mean, it's just perfectly scripted. And if you guys can't see that these are perfect scripts and you think this is some kind of coincidence just day after day, I mean, seriously, you have some kind of mental problem. So, you just think Demaryius Thomas just drops dead at 33 in the shower? Guy that's a fine-tuned instrument of a human being, pretty much perfect body structure. Think about how many fat slobs are in the shower every day and get through it just fine. This guy just drops dead. Come on. So, anyway. If Rodgers goes to the Broncos, you know what time it is. And if that does happen, you're going to be thinking, damn, I wish I put that chip in before he got there. And a good strategy, if you are better, is if you got a hunch something's going to happen before the odds, deflate on it, put a small chip down. And then if it does happen, if you want to invest more, you can. So, don't go bet the house right now on the Broncos. But at the same time, if they got, 30 to 1 odds for the Super Bowl, hey, $10 bill, not a lot to risk. Could be a nice little $300 bonus, this time next year. And to me, $300 is a lot of money. So play smart, you guys. You'll stay ahead of the game. And again, we're going to keep it short and sweet. For those of you guys on the Patreon, Thursday, we're going to start doing weekly streams. Actually, we will do a stream this Thursday, and then we'll talk about it. Because for right now, I'm going to dedicate one day a week to doing a long sports stream, taking your calls, talking about what's going on in the week. And maybe it's better to do it on the weekend. Maybe we'll do one Thursday this week and on Saturday. But Thursday, we are going to do a stream. And yeah, we'll talk more about it then. So I'll see you guys on the Patreon then. And have a great rest of your day. R.I.P. to Demaryius Thomas. And keep your eyes peeled on the Rodgers movement. Till next time.